These threats are a normal part of undercover work. You'll get these guys that'll tell you, if you're the man, I'm going to kill you.
You have your threats at the time of arrest. You have your threats naturally after the case has been over with, and you've received threats through the underground, if you will, you know, after that particular person's in prison. When I get out, so-and-so is going to pay.
So you have to take them seriously, but I wasn't going to just lock myself away in my house for the next 10 years thinking that someone might kill me.
If they want to threaten me, I can't stop them from threatening me. But I do know how to protect myself, and I'm ready and willing at any time. And I just let them know that. You know, nobody's going to bluff me or threaten me and cower me from doing my job.
Cloud's job was to bust some of the biggest heroin, cocaine, and marijuana dealers in Chicago and Detroit. It was a job he started 20 years ago. At the time, he was in Chicago teaching school 9 months of the year, and then driving a cab for 3 months. He joined the federal drug team mainly because he wanted a steady job. Immediately, he began working undercover, and immediately it began to have an impact on his marriage.
You know, I'd been married for about 1.5 years before I took this job. After I took this job and worked undercover, there was no more home at 4:30. There were no more dinners at 5. There was very seldom dinner together. The hours were unusual. The lifestyle was different. The people that I could talk to or have in my social circle were different and extremely restricted. In fact, I almost stopped talking to anybody, and it was just my wife and I. And of course, I could not see the strain on me that was occurring at the time, but she could.
Divorce court claims a lot of police marriages. Statistics are very confusing, but some say a 60% law enforcement divorce rate is not stretching the truth. Undercover officers, much higher. For a time, Kenneth Cloud thought perhaps his marriage was going to end on the rocks. He says it survived because, 1, he had an understanding wife, and 2, he promised her he wouldn't always be undercover.
My very first undercover case almost ended up in tragedy for me. I was buying from a group of people. The guy that I was primarily buying from, I had him totally convinced of who I was. But there was a female involved in the case, a very good-looking female. My training had told me that one of the ways to get in trouble quickest on this job is fooling around with the women. So I had steeled myself against, you know, messing with the females. This particular female was used to guys coming to her and coming on to her and that kind of stuff. When I would go in to buy from these guys, I would totally ignore this woman. My training was working in reverse. It was not normal or natural for a full-blooded male not to take a lascivious look at this female, but I never did, and she knew for that reason something had to be wrong. She didn't know what. She didn't know what, but she knew something had to be wrong. I came in, everything seemed normal. We sat out on a couch together, and this guy took out a German Luger. I'll never forget it. It's an ugly-looking weapon when it's pointed at you. He took out a German Luger and stuck it against my head and told me, hey, I know you're the man. We're going to kill you. I can't explain what goes through you at the time. You get these hot feelings and blood coursing, but you try to stay calm. And of course, I just threw it off as if they were jiving, you know, and I kind of hit the gun and, you know. But they kept me there all day, and they went out of the house and cruised the neighborhood in a car to see if they could find my backup. And they felt if they saw anybody that looked like police that were in a surveillance capacity, they were going to come back to the house and shoot me.
Kenneth Cloud is allowed to tell his story because they did not find his police backup. Tomorrow night,